Hello and welcome, folks, to another edition of RSF Radio. I am your host, Joe Monday, and with me tonight, I have a very special guest. You might know him from the weekly tournaments, which he heads up a lot of times. You might know him from the No Good Nation. That's right, I have NoGoodCitizen on the mic. What's happening, man?
Hey, Joe. How you doing, man?
Pretty tired, but work called off, like snow day tomorrow. It was very strange. They were like, it's gonna be sleety tomorrow morning, but only for like a couple hours. It's like blowing my mind that work was like, don't come in. Like all day is off, even though we work 12-hour shifts. It's like, nope, all day is off because it's gonna be snowy at 4 a.m.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, we haven't gotten any snow here yet, thankfully.
Blowing my mind, but I feel good about that. I'll be able to catch up on some sleep finally.
Well, I'm sure Brick will be happy to see you.
Oh man, yeah, he's my cuddle partner in bed.
Hey, there you go.
Like he's very much my wife's dog, but when it comes to sleepy time, he knows who to. I'm the warm one, of course.
He knows who Daddy is. He knows what's.
Yeah, he finds the nook specifically right in the back of the knee, and I'll wake up in, like he's like right behind my shins. But anyway, enough about me. I don't like to whenever I have guests, I never like to start talking about myself, but I did anyway. Sorry. I always like
to I know you say that, but that's before I met my now fiance. That's usually how my day started. Is I would talk about myself a lot. So like I can relate to that.
So with that in mind, I always like to start a show when I have a guest on. I always have to say, what are you doing right now? What do you want to pitch? Promote your stuff right now, because at the end of the podcast, people are going to turn it off when I start to end this podcast for the third time. They'll be checked out. So while they're checked in, what do you have going on?
So I'm kind of I don't really want to say that like I'm an on again, off again TO in a sense, because I do a lot of things. I try to keep myself pretty busy, like grand scheme of things. But one of my sponsors for NGN is Tokyo Attack, and they are currently, if I'm not mistaken, they are the largest nostalgia / hip Japanese arcade cabinet provider for major conventions like Dragon Con and KatsuCon. MagFest comes to mind, I believe. So we're doing an event in December, from December 7th to the 9th in Columbus, Ohio. It's called Raj of the Garage. It's the fifth one. So what makes the fifth one different is that the last four Raj of the Garages have been mostly arcade exclusive for like people that like to play like Japanese rhythm games like Dance Dance Revolution and Poppin' Music and, Sound Voltex. Instead, now this year they're adding a fighting game kind of layer to it. So there's going to be I believe I want to say like at least 30 Vulix cabinets, like, all with like Street Fighter 5, Dragon Ball Fighters, Soul Calibur 6, because that's the new hotness. Right. We're going to be doing paid tournaments all weekend. Like we're basically turning it into kind of like a mini major. So the gang's all here. We'll have the console setups. There will be arcade setups. There will be streams all weekend. It's really cheap to book a room right now, and the tournament admissions are really awesome. And well, Anthony, the owner of Tokyo Attack, is just a fantastic guy to work with, and we're trying to bring something that really resonates with the players, because when you in every tournament someone's got to go 0-2, right? So once you go 0-2 and get blown out, you drove 3 hours or wherever you came from, it for some people kind of feels like there's not something to do. So when you're done, there's a whole host of, I believe like the counter is well over 100 machines, other things that you can play with.
That's sick.
You can go hang out with your friends and maybe play some dance games or play some fighting games. Just have a good time, even though it's the Midwest and it's really cold that time of year.
And just for everyone listening, that's Raj, R-A-J in the garage.
Yeah, Raj of the Garage. So if you can find it on Facebook, and I believe the website link is.
I'll share it in the show notes for.
Yeah, I was about to say that's really bad that I don't have that memorized, but RajOTG.com.
Word.
So
OTG, all right.
Yeah, you like that, right?
I do like that. That's a nice, like, fun play on words that I don't know if anyone running that event would. Anyway, that's cool. I dig it.
No, it's going to be awesome. I highly encourage people to check it out because it's being partially TO'd in part by some people that were also, they had a hand in Climax of the Night and Michigan Master.
One more time? What was that?
It's partially being TO'd by some folks that have had a hand in Climax of the
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Climax of Night. So it, innuendo aside, so no, I have a feeling, not even a feeling.
Were you just gonna breeze? I'm sorry. Were you just gonna breeze over Climax at Night?
I am totally gonna breeze over Climax of Night. Okay. It was a good tournament too. It was a really good tournament.
I'm sure it was, but I can't. I have to stop you.
But what do you what do you expect from anime players, Joe?
That's fair. Degenerates, all of them. The air dashers are stay in your lane, air dashers.
But they got some really good workers there, man. Like, and Raj's is more of a community effort. So and those are kind of like up and coming tournaments too. That's basically the core of what CEO was, and in a way like Combo Breaker. So it could definitely join the ranks of tournaments that are absolutely worth going to every single year.
I'm sorry.
You're still stuck on that.
I'm still like, I wanted you to get your piece out before I was like, I came back in because I'm still a little short of breath from like holding this lapse.
I mean, my thing was that I was on Twitter all week and the entire time it was happening, and I had read Climax of Night so many times that like it became normal to me.
I get it, and like as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, that's an anime event. Of course it is.
And whatever, nothing after that can be good. It's just as soon as you say it's an anime event, you just stop.
You know what you're getting into, but that sounds like a good time. Let me ask you this off the wall question: any pinball at that event?
I do not believe there will be pins, but and as sad as that is, there really is a reason for that. Is because pin rental is not a simple thing.
No.
And if like Sega candy cabinets, like, and stuff like that, for playing fighting games or whatever, if you're going to play DDR, is already really niche. So even though pinball has a huge following, the accessibility of the machines is still something that's like a really niche market for, especially for just a 3-day event.
Because there's a lot of moving parts, like they all need upkeep.
And absolutely. And you have to think about the fact that there's, a whole bunch of spring-loaded metal balls flying around at like 30 miles an hour inside the machine. So something's bound to break. But if I had to tell you anything, as far Anthony, the owner of Tokyo Attack, tell him that you want something, he is always the kind of guy who, if you come up to him and say you can't do this, he will end up doing it.
So if there's like a particular cabinet that I would like to see at this event, might want to DM him on, or just like ping him on Twitter, maybe, if that's
honestly, I think if you added him on Twitter right now, not right now, but if you added him on Twitter and said, hey, Joe Monday says put pins at Roger's Garage, I guarantee you they would be there next year.
Don't want to do that. There's a very fine pinball event in Pittsburgh. I don't have to go very far to get some pinball in, but that's beside the point. So that's cool. That sounds like a rad event, and you'll be helping out with that and basically running tournaments all weekend.
Correct.
Which sounds like a really good time.
Well, my fiance says that I'll look more attractive when I go all gray instead of just black with specks of gray hair. So
that's a good way to do it. Running.
Oh Lord.
That's actually funny. Like, I'm actually looking forward to being gray. Is that weird?
No, I think you'd wear it well.
Well, I only say that because, like, my dad, I've only known him. He's not an old dad. I'm not an old dad kind of person. Because those people who have, like, an old dad. I don't have an old dad. But I've only known him with gray hair my entire life. So it's like, I'm hoping that maybe I will have maybe I'll be the young gray fox. Maybe it will be me. But looking forward to that. It hasn't turned yet. There's a couple gray hairs in the beard, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I can't stay out of trouble, so my gray hair just keeps coming.
Well, let me ask you this then, because something that I want to talk to you about is what really is the No Good Network for people who might not know.
Okay, so wow,
I know.
I never thought I'd get to tell this story on any sort of podcast or and it's one of those things where it's like it's not that you had to be there, it's that there really helps. So NGN actually kind of started out as a idea between me and a couple of my friends where we were just like, hey, we all play Smash Brothers again. And here's the lore before anybody flames me for this, because I know Smash is not part of the FGC, blah blah blah, political, doesn't matter. Indiana was not really renowned at the time for having a very strong fighting game community based scene, and people were more likely to play with you if you would play Smash than if you played fighting games. So it was only when Street Fighter V came around the corner that it became more commonplace. Like we have a weekly, and then before we knew it, we had a monthly. And we've always had a monthly, but it actually became like a real month. So back when we were all playing Smash together, the cool thing to do was everybody had a crew. So we're like, well, what do we call ourselves? And originally the name of the crew was Drunken on Drugs Crew, and I feel like that's really self-incriminating. But we kind of going forward, a lot of us realized that being trashed at weeklies was kind of a waste of our time, and we wanted to take the game a little more seriously. So I sat there for a while trying to think about what would be a good name to call us if we were going to try to put together any sort of team, just to travel to neighboring states to play competitively and things of that general nature. And my best friend, his father, always called us No Good Citizen. Like my best friend's dad always called us No Good Citizens. We weren't good for him. You're always hanging out with these no good citizens all the time, and especially this one. Point directly at me, and he'd be like, this one especially. This is the no good citizen that you need to get rid of. And he didn't mean it in a deep, malicious sort of way, but more kind of a way to say, spend less time with your friends and spend more time, on your success, or
way that a dad would joke around.
Right. So I was trying to find a name for myself one day, and I was just like, dude, I've been called that so many fucking times that I think I'm gonna take that. And then when it came time to put the team together, we're like, we still don't have a name. So I was like, well, I mean, the thing that we do best is that while we don't exactly take tournaments by storm, we're really good at getting chummy with people. So that, we're really good at networking. And then we're like, well, I was like, if nobody else has an idea, I mean, we just, we can do NGN. We can do the No Good Network. We're the guys that show up to tournament. We're happy if we don't go to. And then after that, you can probably catch a beer in our hand. So
because you're going to be drunken on drugs, but you don't want to wear that one on your sleeve. You want people to find that out later on.
Well, I mean, I don't want to claim the drugs, but I'm just saying you could always find me here in my hand.
Don't worry. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. I've told you that I'm not a cop. So
no, I saw you on stream at Canada Cup. You didn't look like a cop.
Not a cop. Trust me.
But there was a deeper meaning behind that name initially when we first started. Because originally, so it started as a team that wanted to travel and check out the competitive scene as many places as we could. And then we realized that, well, we're all getting older. And when we started, I think I was 26, I want to say. So it's been about 4 years since we started, being failures. So
failing upwards.
Right, failing upwards. But we went from trying to compete, travel, and at that point we were like, well, this is really hectic, because we were trying to keep our bases covered and stay as active as possible. Mm-hmm. We're like, well, what would be a good idea to fall back on as a secondary when we can't stay consistent? So we thought that we might make a joint YouTube channel where every person, like the beautiful thing about NGN is that everyone that is an NGN has some sort of attraction as though like why they're there. Like, you know, we've got a couple guys that are in like successful bands, like, you know, they're Twitter verified and the whole deal. And, you know, we have some people that are, you know, they have different talents like cosplaying, or, you know, they're fantastic at cooking, just like general different dynamics. So we figured that we would put the network part in the name, and we would try to let everybody make their own videos on YouTube, so it'd be like you were flipping through the channels on a network, kind of.
I like that idea.
It was a really good idea, but just, you know, like I said, we're getting older. It's like trying to get people together to play Dungeons and Dragons. No one's schedule lines up. Yeah, so
it's an impossibility as an adult.
Nothing really came of it. So we kind of fell back on well, you know, we're going to keep our focus on esports and the FGC, and, you know, trying to you know, I guess maybe not make a difference, just make some sort of presence in the scene. And I feel like to an extent, you know, we've done that a little bit, at least on the local level, and, you know, on the social level, like as far as, you know, FGC Twitter and so on goes. Like, people definitely know us.
I've seen the jerseys. I know what it's about.
It's just I feel like as a grassroots team, when you're trying to do things yourself, you can't expect greatness. Like, you know, you can't just wake up one day and be like, yeah, we're as good as Echo Fox.
No, and that's silly, because really what you're just trying to do is further your own small community. And so,
right.
Like, what does that look like? What does success look like by those metrics? And it's like,
and that margin is small. Like, you know, if you really want to like be super hypercritical of the word success in the FGC, it's still a very small percentage of people that might reflect what people think of.
Yeah, you need to curb your vision of reality when you think about the FGC. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, that the FGC is so small. It is so small. Like, by comparison, I mean, you turn around and you look at let's see here, you look at CS:GO leagues, you look at Overwatch League, basically almost any other esport, as terrible as it sounds to say. And it's basically as old, if not older, than a lot of those institutions.
Yeah, and they were dwarfed by comparison.
Yeah, it's very strange to me. That's always been weird to me to think about, because I look at things like League or Dota, and the rules of those games seems so obfuscated that to a average viewer who doesn't play the game, a lot of it doesn't make sense, and even the shoutcasting doesn't necessarily help with that. But like with fighting games, you know who's winning when their health bar is larger. You can see it. It's right there. So it always made more sense to me that fighting games would be, or at least I thought that people would, you know, it would be easier to accept from the general population of, oh, fighting games, I understand this. Like, I can see it and know what's going on, versus what is actually more popular today, which is your CSGO and your Dotas and things of that nature.
You know, that's kind of the beauty of fighting games, at least from a spectator's perspective, is that, you know, a lot of my friends are really supportive of what I do. But, you know, a lot of them don't understand it, but a lot of them I've managed to con into being like, hey, watch this top 8 with me, you know, whatever. And they know nothing. It is, hold on, my computer just tried to go into sleep mode. Excuse me.
Nah, that's okay.
You still there? Yeah, there we go. Cool.
Discord's one of those weird apps where if your computer closes or crashes or whatever, it just keeps running. It's a weird thing. It's very strange.
Yeah, that's odd.
It's always listening. Actually, you should probably worry about that a little bit more. But anyway,
I just came off of format in my defense. But the beauty of fighting games, the accessibility for spectators, is that it is that simple. So, you know, I can con somebody that doesn't know anything about it into going, oh, I'll try it. And then after, you know, a good set, they're like, oh my God, they're screaming and going nuts and losing their mind over it. And that's really cool to me. I think that's a really unique thing, because like if you go watch Overwatch League, listen, I watch Overwatch to the extent I play Overwatch. I still don't know what the hell is going on when I watch Overwatch League.
It's a hard thing to watch because it's multiple different players all playing at once, so you get multiple perspectives at any one time, and the action it's hard to follow. It's hard to know where that goalpost is. It's hard to tell like who's really winning, who's really doing the winning right here, when like a great play happens or something, or what angle you want to look at it from. I agree with that. It is, again, it's obfuscated by the mechanics of the game itself as a viewer. But I don't know. It's one of those things where, I think that the fighting game community and just fighting games in general, I don't know. Like I say the story where, like my wife's mom is a fan of Geef's Gym. Like she's read it and been like, "Oh, this is super helpful." I'm like, she's like, "I don't play." I'm like, "You don't play any video games. You've never touched a video game in your life." She goes, "Yeah, but like I get it." And I'm like, "Word." Like that's cool. This person who is super, like, she's the never video game person, just never touched them. But even she's like, "Oh no, this is, I get it. I get what this is now because it's been explained." But
how are you going to feel when she comes to the family reunion and find out she's a filthy Guile main?
Oh no. Or even worse, a Cammy.
Oh Lord. That's somebody.
Cammy's probably more believable.
Okay, somebody shoot that bitch. Can I say that on here?
You can say, "Listen, man, I've called my grandma a bitch on this show." Have I done that on this show? That might have only been during the weekly tournament, but regardless, my grandmother was a cold hard bitch. Love her to death. Well, she is dead, but she was great. Total bitch. But man, my grandma. I'll tell that story eventually. Not right now. I'll talk about that during the tournament.
I'm definitely going to put a pin in that. I want to hear that one.
And why it's the reason why I always keep Black Velvet in my liquor cabinet. It's not good whiskey, folks. It's cheap whiskey. But moving on.
I had a really bad night with Black Velvet one time. That's another story for later. But I can definitely corroborate that claim. It's not great.
Nah,
that's a plastic bottle too. The half gallon.
So they have some that comes in a glass bottle. I don't know what the difference is. I think they call it like I don't know. They might just say it's a special edition. But it might be my mind playing tricks on me. But I think it tastes better. I think it's drinkable. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. But
let's put it this way: if you held a gun to my head and told me I would have to drink it, I'd probably drink. I mean, honestly, honestly, I'd look at the guy holding a gun to my head and be like, "That
these are your stakes. These are your demands." Okay, that's a weird night. But anyway, I did want to talk to you about something else that you got going on, or kind of what you do professionally. But
okay, sorry. No,
you work at Focus Attack, but I think you were gonna say what you might do, like actual professionally.
Oh, what I do like professionally?
Yeah, for money.
Oh, so basically, I'm a contractor. Okay. I work for Focus Attack as their technical support lead. And I basically, anytime someone has a question with any of the products that we have on the website, you're probably talking to me.
Word.
So I am the wizard. They call me the parts elf.
For people who might not know what Focus Attack is, what is Focus Attack?
So Focus Attack is an arcade parts store that you can shop at online. Has a similar vibe to Amazon, I guess you could say. So anytime that your bully friend tells you that you need to put an octagonal gate into your arcade stick, and they keep insisting even after you've told them to shut the fuck up 4 times.
Octogates are really good, though.
No, they're so bad.
Joe,
they're so bad.
They're actually super. Bad. They've got a tighter. Mathematically, they have a tighter throw.
That doesn't matter. They feel like crap.
It's science. I can prove you with science.
But it's wrong. It's just wrong. My boss is going to be so thrilled. He's going to be like, "You talked about our company. You swore in the same sentence." And I'd be like, "I'm sorry." But no, so I'm the support lead. And so I do everything from troubleshooting just, something as simple as a squeaky spring to my brook board exploded and everything's on fire and I don't know who to talk to claim insurance on the house. So it's a wide variety of things. But I also do, we started a new video series. So I took basically what I had learned from trying to do media for NGN, like we mentioned before.
Right.
And I made it into an actual, valuable skill. So I do a video series called the Focus Attack Tech Corner, where we kind of do tutorials, capture general Q&A, like stuff like that. We're kind of trying to help the person that is interested in doing their own DIY modifications and then make them more educated to where they can feel comfortable doing more in-depth things.
Oh man, I actually haven't seen that. That would have been super helpful years ago when switching out parts, because anyone's first time when you open up a fight stick and you're like, well, I do want to change these buttons, but also I feel like I'm going to break everything. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to do. If you know what you're doing and you have a very tiny screwdriver, then you're fine.
As long as you don't need to solder anything.
Yeah, I guess that is the problem of... actually, now that you say that, that is a problem of knowing, well, I have this stick. What parts even go in this stick?
That is an initiative that we have been trying to take, take the bull by the horns for a very long time.
Do I need pop-in buttons or screw-in buttons?
Yeah, that's... does it fit is the most popular question that we have ever gotten, ever. I can guarantee you that I don't make it a day without hearing it. And since I'm remote support, I'm around all the time. So, like when you tell me, you're like, yo, I got off work. And I was like, sweet. Hell yeah. I'm kind of home all the time, but like I'm never really not working in a sense. Like it's kind of like in a way, nobody ever tells you when you try to work from home that your own home kind of becomes your dungeon.
Yeah, you've made your own prison of sorts.
Absolutely, it's a livable prison. So like, I'm not complaining, but like, there's just when you tell your friends, it's like, oh well, I got a job working from home. They're like, wow, that must be great. And sometimes it's actually it's strange. It's kind of like basically if you're never working, or if you're not working, I should say, you feel guilty. Like I'm at home.
I've been there. I understand that.
And and all my friends that have normal 9-to-5s are out. Their time is spoken for, but I'm not doing anything right now, even though I have technically no work that needs done. My inbox is quiet. My video work's handled. I'm done putting up knowledge-based articles. Why do I still feel guilty?
I understand that and feel that to an extent. Like when you have I get that from like the creative side, where it feels like anytime I'm at home and I'm not creating something, that it feels like time is wasted. Mm-hmm. But like, if you look at any studies that look at that, it's like, no, sometimes your brain just needs to reset. You sometimes need to just do nothing. You don't always need to be working. You don't always have to feel like there's someone or something looking over your shoulder. Like, it's just not healthy to live that way. And I can understand how, like, working from home, what I've heard from working from home is that you'd have to like build an office space of, this is my office space that I go to specifically for work time, just to like compartmentalize that. Is that something that you've done in your house?
That is something that I have actually done in terms of especially the video production is because there are a lot of crappy videos on the internet.
You don't say. I feel like I've made a lot of them.
So have I. Let me start by saying that there are a lot of videos that can be perceived as crappy on the internet, but even like the crappiest of videos probably took some time to create. And generally, whenever I do any when I do any tech corner videos, it's probably a solid at least 16 to 18 hours of work, give or take. So like I try to spread that out over the course of like 3 days or so, but I absolutely have a separate area in the house that I do all my shooting in, where all of the backdrops lay and nothing ever comes in between me and my sets. I have a separate laptop workstation for that sort of thing, because you get to the point that it's like, okay, it's crunch time, and this is due basically right now, so it needs to be done. And that's not a thing that you can really rush. And when you have all these distractions on your smartphone and your regular computer and what have you, it's very easy to get distracted. So I go in there and I don't come out till I'm done.
That's smart. I guess let me ask you this, and you can let me ask you if you're even allowed to answer this question. But
okay, sure.
Do you have any biases towards specific parts? Are you allowed to tell me what your favorite lever is?
I can say things about parts in terms of what I'm fond of, but in terms of things not so fond of, I can only make clever, hints.
That's fine. I can say that I always fuck this up because of Final Fantasy from Moogles from Final Fantasy. Regardless, where I'm going with this. But is it Kubo or Kuro buttons? It's Kubo buttons, right?
It is Kuro.
So Kuro, I always want to call it Kubo. I don't know why.
I think Kubo would have been or Kupo would have been a more attractive name. Honestly.
Regardless, I personally think that those buttons are trash. That is my opinion.
You already missed the hint. So I'm glad that we got the big one out of the way. Quick.
I can say that because that was really like my first foray into modding my own stick, was getting when the Rat 4 had the Kuro buttons in it. I was like, oh no. I need some Sanwas in this bitch.
Is it Rio that's in Ninja Gaiden? What's the Ninja Gaiden characters? Is Rio? His last name starts with an H, right?
Yeah, the Hayabusa.
Okay, so anyway, so there is one lever out there that starts with an H that I can strongly tell you I will never ever use one.
And that's why I have a Saimitsu JL50.
That would be the LS50.
Yeah, the LS50. Yes, the LS56. Correct.
LS56. Okay, yeah. There are a lot of people that love those.
I love that one. That is one of my favorites because it specifically with the Octo Gate. It's got a very tight throw. It's a stiff. I like a stiff, rigid stick. What can I say, ladies? I love a stiff, rigid stick. If you know anything about me, I like them turgid. No left or right business.
It makes so much sense that you play on an Octogate because you play Geef.
It actually wasn't so.
Can I ask you something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when you were on stage at Canada Cup, were you playing on an Octogate?
Absolutely. 100%.
You would have won if you were on a square.
No. Specifically because it's not. So I got the Octogate not because I thought it was easier to do 360s, but specifically because I personally like knowing exactly where the left and right. I like knowing where my cardinal directions are. I like knowing exactly where they are. And I think that the Octogate, because it gives you just that little bit of groove, I'm like, okay, I got this. And very easy to touch. And also, it doesn't matter anything that I played on. Let's get one thing straight, everybody. I had no chance of beating Itazan, to be clear.
It wasn't that bad.
No, and it wasn't that... I agree with you. It actually went way better than I thought it would go.
It wasn't that bad. I was really proud of you, but I'm less proud now that I know that you play on an Octogate.
Pshaw. I scoff at that. I'm looking down my nose at you from my high tower of Octogate, brethren. Octogate is the way, it is the life.
If it makes you feel any better, at least you made it to Itazan. I had a chance to play Itazan at Evo, and I choked the match right before it.
He's very good. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I told it on this podcast, but the reason why. So, leading up to that match, I'll tell this story real quick because I don't think I have. Leading up to that match, when we were called to go play on stage, I don't remember how it came up, but he looked over at me because I think someone was asking me about Zangief, and he looked over at me and he said, "Oh, you play Zangief?" And I said, "Of course I play Zangief." And he bowed deeply and said, "I'm sorry." I go, yeah, that's accurate. I go, yeah, I know. You know that I know. We know how this is gonna go.
Yuzan wrote Zangief off like a bad check.
And he should. Listen, if you're trying to be competitive in Street Fighter V at a top level, absolutely you should. I don't disagree. He requires way too much effort to do things that other characters can do much better. Anyway, not the point. So we get on stage and we're waiting because they're playing out commercials or whatever. So we're sitting there for a while. And that whole time I'm looking at him like, hey, Itazan, what's it going to take for us to do the Geefmere? And he's like, no, I can't do the game. I'm like, listen, man, I'll buy you a beer right now. I'm like, I will, please. Let's just do the Geefmere. V-Trigger 2, yes. And he goes, yes, V-Trigger 2 in that matchup. Yeah, like I could see it in his eyes that he wanted to, but he's a professional. I tried to collude. I was like, listen, if you win that match, I'll throw it. I'll throw the rest. Like if I win, I'll throw it. I don't care. I don't care about the win. I want this mirror match to happen. You can switch to Abigail anytime because
that
clearly
been so beautiful.
It would. Oh man, I tried so hard to collude for you, the viewers. I tried so hard to collude.
I respect the shit out of that. That would have been the best match that I'd seen all day.
Well, so that was my whole mentality of going. Like I know with everything I do, like this, what we're doing right now. The tournaments, the Geese Gym stuff, like all of that shit, the community efforts, I don't have the time to play as if I'm going to be competitive. So going up against Itazan, who plays Abigail, and in my opinion, that is maybe Zangief's worst matchup, is Abigail. It is. You
think so?
It is very close.
Really?
That and yeah. Zangief actually has all Abigail needs to do is crouching jab and crouching medium punch. He can do that the entire match. And Geef cannot move forward. That's a very weird thing. Like eventually you concede so much space that Abigail has you in the corner because of the space that you need to walk back in order to deal with those buttons. It's not a good matchup at all. It's very bad. Probably the worst. Minot might be worse, but that matchup is very, very bad. So I'm like, no, there's no way I'm going to win. But if I pick V-Trigger 2, it's not a 0% possibility that something fun might happen. Entertainment will happen if I pick V-Trigger 2. There was no chance of entertainment happening had I picked V-Trigger 1. I don't think. But what if I pick V-Trigger 2?
I mean, you got to do it for the fans.
The people's champ has to pick V-Trigger 2.
You have to do it for the fans, especially if you're in if you're in a situation that you kind of feel like is zero sum. I am guilty of that, and this is coming from someone that I consider myself very competitive. But I play regularly, constantly.
Yeah,
and unfortunately still don't have a whole great deal to show for it. But I am somewhat accomplished. I played Chakotay at the Yumacon Battle Opera.
I was going to bring that up. I saw that match.
I had to play G for the first game, and my G is I would say my G is about maybe 3 pegs above a dollar store G. I'm like an Aldi G. Do you guys have Aldi over there?
Yeah, we have the Aldi.
Oh yeah, my G is like an Aldi G, not quite Meyer. You know what I mean?
That's fair. You still gotta put the quarter in the shopping cart to get it out.
I had to do it to him because being on that beautiful stage with and the speakers were massive and the crowd was huge and the lights are going everywhere. I just wanted to hear G on the big stage and then be like, yeah, that's me. So no, I totally get it. I understand. I would have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we were talking about Octo Gates, and then we started talking about Itazan. Regardless, let's reel it back in.
You're too easy to talk to.
Well, this happens all the time. This is why that sometimes the show goes for man, the Halloween episode lasted 3 hours, and that could have gone like 4 hours easily, 5 easy. So many things we didn't get to talk about, but regardless, that was a special for another time. Anyway, you have something written here that I actually found really interesting that I wanted to hear your opinion on and why it was even written down.
Sure.
But you wanted to talk about Tokyo Game Show 2008 and the rise of esports.
Oh, here we go. You're asking the hard hitting questions today, man. What is NGN? Where did NGN come from? Why do you still care about 10 years ago at Tokyo Game Show?
Why does it matter? Why does this decade ago moment matter? I mean, 2008 was a year for fighting games. So I'm with you on that.
So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, before I had started playing fighting games, semi-casual, like to the point that I was foolish enough to make a bad decision and buy an arcade stick without being any good at using it. I played a game called Metal Gear Online that was a piggyback off the Metal Gear Solid 4 disc on PlayStation 3. For those that might be listening that might remember it. It was actually also the second Metal Gear Online installment to ever exist. So this was obviously, predates Smash GG and I think Challenge by quite a bit. This is back when game battles was still like really, really popular, and people were throwing around MLG like it was a hot buzzword and things like that. So I played MGO2 a lot, like a lot. Kind of like to the extent that I play fighting games now. I was very serious about it, and so I had a team that we had played together competitively on that for a long extended period of time. And in the first year of the game existing, Konami decided that they were going to do a Metal Gear Online World Championship. And the way that this would be done is that they would have qualifiers, online qualifiers. I know that people listening, that has to terrify the shit out of you. Because like, if you think about how bad online game is now, think about how bad it was 10 years ago. Yeah. So they would have qualifiers for each region. There was
no fiber back then.
No. It was a very dark place with a lot of people that were still sharing DSL connection. But they would have regional qualifiers. So and the way that it went is that you would have to play this ladder continuously to be able to be put into the regional final bracket. So, long story short, my team came around and we stuck around long enough to be in the running for somewhere close to finals. I believe we got to semis. And keep it simple, we lost. We were completely removed from the running. I think I'm pretty sure we got third. And the other two American teams just completely blew us out. So, I kind of washed my hands of it. Like it really left me, the sting of defeat and butthurt that I'm sure that a lot of people are still familiar with today is, the unforgettable feeling of losing a tournament that meant something to you. And I just washed my hands of it. I was like, whatever, it happens. I didn't care anyway. I didn't want to go to Japan. Fine. So I forgot about it. Right. I went on about my business.
In all honesty, probably a good year to drop Konami in general.
They were bad, but they weren't so bad then.
They weren't all pachinko machines and health spas.
It was not, the horror story that it is now.
That was that was like they were making their turn back then.
So I forgot about it, and then one day, my phone rang, my cell phone, my cool little flip phone, because I was. What was hot back then.
You went from a razor phone to a razor stick.
So my phone rings one day, and it's someone from Konami trying to talk to me. And they're like, listen, something came up. And one of the American teams that qualified to go to the World Championship, because they took 2 teams from each region. So like we were one spot away from being like money.
Right.
And they told me that something had come up. And I won't go into too far detail, but one of the guys on the regional qualifying team got himself banned for talking shit directly to an admin. Yeah. Some things were said that I won't say on here.
Fair enough.
So they were
the internet in 2008. So we're like,
it was the Wild West. It was a little bit of the Wild West. So they were down a person, and they're like, well, we need a sub in, and we were thinking, could we use somebody from your team? But there needs to be a way that this is done fairly.
Right.
And we don't want to do a lottery. We kind of want to have you guys talk amongst yourselves to see who considered to go. So I know it kind of goes without saying, I feel like people kind of know where the story's starting to go. But my team chose me. So I was elected to be the 6th on that second American.
Wow.
And before I knew it, I was like, wow, I'm 20 years old and I'm going to be in Japan next week.
For playing a fighting game. For playing a video game.
Right, for playing a video game. Like, it was like just totally, unheard of at the time. Like,
that's the dream.
Facebook was still a thing then, but like, I think MySpace was still in like its death throes. So people found out slowly, but like, everyone was just like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going. Like, you must be really good. And like, well, I'm the scab, but sure. So before I knew I was in Japan, I practiced with my new team, and a lot of them I still keep in touch with, because one of the guys on the other American team was who really got me into like competitive fighting games. Because after that was all said and done, we played Street Fighter 4 together online. Like, he lives in New York, or I want to say he lives in New York now, but he's an East Coast guy. So
because
we went over
The
there.
year that, 2008, they had cabs over there.
That's just where I was going. Actually, you're good. You're good at this. So we finally got over there, right? It was the longest flight of my life. But the first thing I did was went to Taito Station, and they had the Street Fighter 4 location test. So like, and it blew my mind. Like, because I had been dipping my toes in the water. Is like, while I was playing MGO, I was playing Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. I think that's pretty much all I was playing at the time. I think that was really all there was to do in terms of like trying to play online. So we had seen all the GameSpot stuff about Street Fighter 4 back in the day, and how it's being tested in Japan. I finally got to do it before like anyone else, and it was amazing. Like,
like right there in it.
It was a 20-year-old's dream. It was a 20-year-old's dream, and like, it set almost like an impossible bar for what to expect out of like the rest of 20. Like, because you were basically just getting paid to fuck off and then go play really hard. Go play
hard, and then also like there's this fighting game that is out over here a year before it will even come to the States.
So I walk up to the cabs, right? Like, the Taito Velixes, and it's just a couple people there right now. It's not like super packed. So I speak Japanese about as well as I already form a simple thought. So it's not very good. So I talked to this. I was kind of making bad exchanges with this salary guy. He just looked like a regular salary man. I was sitting at the cabinet. I was like, can I play with you? And he's, hi, sure. Like, motioning me to sit down. And he was sitting there drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette, having a good time. Like, he was just playing the AI. So I played this guy, and if I had to guess, this gives you any indication of like the level of talent in terms of fighting game culture over in Japan, just on a local level. This guy had to have been at least 55 years old. 55 years old, playing Vanilla Sagat location. So like pre-console release, Vanilla Sagat playing and completely destroying my ass.
Vanilla Sagat was very good.
While double fisting a beer and a smoke.
That was the whole story. That was most of Japan's arcade back then at that time.
It stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
It stuck with me forever, and it still does. And I still I partially blame that, for why I'm here today. Because that's like, it's something that you don't forget. Like, because when I was 20, I was like really impressionable. It's because when I'm 55, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I really do.
You want to be there, just deep in smoking a cigarette in a hazy arcade, drinking a beer.
To keep it short, because I can ramble. I'm really good at rambling. We went to the finals.
I'm loving this story. This is a great story, by the way. Like,
the finals.
I'm hearing you say this, and I'm like, God damn! I wish that were me. Like, I can't just think about that. But then, like, oh man, that's so cool.
It set an impossible standard for my life. I've had a lot of good things in my life, but still, I don't think I've come that close to touching the sun in a while. But the finals were at Tokyo Game Show. So like this was in, I want to say it was October. It was early October. And Konami, like, they really hooked us up. Like, they gave us press passes. Like, we got in on the press days where, like, the normal riffraff weren't there and everything. And it was, see it. Yeah, we really, like, this was back before Resident Evil 5 was out. We got to play it before everyone else. But they would have us up on the center section stage. Like, I'm sure Konami paid a bunch of money to be the center of attention, and the final, world championship team battle between all the elected teams from all the regions would happen here. Mm-hmm. And this was when Justin TV was, I don't even think it was a thing, Joe. Like it was barely a thing, but what it made me see the future way. Like, because
I think it was back then.
I was,
so for people who don't know, Justin TV is what became Twitch. Right
correct.
Now.
Before all of the trading space.
Yeah.
But I was all the way in Japan at 2 p.m. I knew damn well it was 2 a.m. back where, I live at in the Midwest in Indiana. And my family and, my friends had the ability to watch the matches as they went because they were being streamed, back onto the internet live. Mm-hmm. Like, which I was like, at the time I was like, holy shit, that's a big deal. Like, most people don't even have like internet connections strong enough to even play that without it dropping, and buffering like crazy.
Let alone upload all that video to the internet and have it stream live. It was just, whenever that first came out, it was like, it was a time of magic.
Oh, it is absolutely. It lit the world on fire. And now it's a thing, if you look at it, is like, I don't want to say that's like a big deal, but like it's so common. Like anyone with a computer or anyone with a PS4 can do it. You can just be on a PS4 and just hit a button. Hit the share button.
And you are streaming.
So, like, to see that happen and then be there on, the grand finals, because we made it to grand finals, which is something, if you look at my track record through most of my history, is kind of rare for me. I can crank out some top 8s, but to see me in finals is like, shit, what year is it? But we made it all the way to grand finals, man. And look out there and see like those like thousands of people, all standing around, like, because they want to see a good show and, they love the competition. Mm-hmm. People I've never talked to in my life, I'll probably never see again. Like, just a sea of people. And to look at that and then look at myself and be like, holy shit, I'm here. Like, regardless of how I got here.
Yeah.
Like that'll stay with me forever. And then I went through after that for like, 3, 4, maybe almost 5 years of my life. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with my life.
You had to chase that horse. You had to chase that dragon.
There I am. So like here I am, and now I have NGN. And now I work with Tokyo Attack, and I'm trying to put on Raj of the Garage. I run my own events out of my own personal arcade. I run Salt Fest. Like, it's just anything to be as close to that as I was before. I'm there. Like that's what I wanted to do, and I never realized it for the longest time.
No, that's awesome. That is a great story, because like that's one of those things where like, how do you chase that feeling after that?
It's so hard
as a young early 20s to chase that. Yeah, I can't even imagine. That's buck wild. It's a good story.
And especially like, at that time, it was so hard for people to understand, but like now it's common. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, every time I manage to like steal my way onto a stream match on a stage, especially like Yumacon, it's just like it's that same feeling, and you don't get to just feel that over and over.
Right.
So that's something that's really special to me, and that's kind of what makes me really believe in what I'm trying to do for myself in terms of, you know, establishing myself in the fighting game community. Yeah, so I have MGO to blame for a lot of that.
That's such a weird path. I would not have expected that.
It is.
That's so, like I had like completely forgotten that game even had an online, like MGO was even a thing.
MGO2 is actually really not a bad game. It's a very bad game, but it's not a bad game. If that makes any sense.
I totally understand that. Like, listen, I think Armored Core is a great game. But it's a very bad game.
It's that special brand of Kuso.
Yeah, it's just that little something that, like, I know that I love it. It's something that I love. I would never recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, no, I honestly I cannot straight face because Konami shut down the servers a while back.
That's a whole other story about Konami as a business, and
someone necroed the servers, so they're back now, and there's ways to get into them.
That's cool.
But I still could not straight face be like, yeah, you should play that, like, with the worst community ever, full of, you know, horrible, intolerant children.
Only the worst people have continued to play it.
For sure.
A decade later,
for sure. Like if I can only think of so many communities that need to be nuked from orbit, and that's definitely one of them.
All right. Well, let's talk about more positive things.
Yeah, let's go.
Because I feel like what everyone was positive about, and I feel like was the main stage, at least in the last couple months. I can't remember a time in the last 2, maybe 3 months, or maybe it's just because I'm jaded, where everyone was just so happy about what was going on. All I saw this weekend was everybody on the internet decided to lay down their arms and say, you know what? The Red Bull Kumite is actually the bee's knees. This is so my shit. Everyone loved it. So well received. It's crazy how many people were so positive on this event. What are your at first blush? What was your opinion on the Red Bull Kumite?
The production was incredible.
Yeah.
The production was absolutely fantastic. And in fact, it makes me more and more nervous every time that a major event has that level of production or higher, because I feel like it raises the standard for, and like slowly but surely, it's like, holy shit, how do I match this?
So that is, I feel like that is the darker side of where I think I want this conversation to go, because I'm bad that way. But well, it's because, so they have all this Red Bull money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have basically infinite money. Like, they run a Flugtag every year. If you don't know what that is, it's like literally throwing money into a lake. That's like literally what that is, right? Right? Am I not wrong? Like,
okay.
In my description of what that is, I feel like it's pretty accurate. Regardless, they do that, but they have all of this good money that they're going to put into the fighting game community and say, here's your octagon, here's your banner showing everyone else who has won, here's your lights presentation, here's like this weird conceit, like everyone gets their own intro, it's gonna be great. And from top to bottom, they just run this very tight invitational. And I feel like that word, just saying the words invitational, might sound a little bit... You
can hear Twitter screaming the moment you say that word.
Yeah. Yeah. Because... let's like everyone drop their swords, drop your pitchforks, drop your fires, because I think that there's an open conversation to have about this, and not just like, I'm not going to say, no, I advocate invitationals. Absolutely not. I think that there's a place for invitationals. I think that
we see something like this with Red Bull, and it's like, this was an incredible event. Everyone loved it. Every match was important. But what you don't really get to see, so I feel like that phrase in particular, every match was important here at this invitational, is actually happening at every level throughout any bracket at a premier event. Like going to Canada Cup, for example, with like every match was important. Like after round 1 or round 2, after that, it was, you could have put any match on stream and been like, oh, this was an important match to watch. Like between killers, because that's just what the competition is. And I'm not just talking about like the classic old legends. It's these new players who have picked up the game and carried the torch.
I noticed that about Canada Cup, because I was actually, I watch a lot of streams. Basically, if I'm not at an event, I'm probably watching a stream. Especially, since I work from home in my command center, I watch streams all the time. But that is one thing that I did notice about Canada Cup is like, how the fuck do they decide who to put on stream? Like, after let's say winners round 3, right? Like winners round 3, you're gonna be like, well, I have. I was surprised I didn't see Rob. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I was very stunned to not see Rob TV. But then I would look down at the next bracket cell, and I would be like, well, someone else is there, and they deserve to be on stream as much as as Rob does. And then I'd go down to the next one and be like, we have a problem here.
Yeah. Every single bracket had at least 2 matches or 3 matches, or 2 matches or 4 matches happening. And I'm not just talking about the winners bracket either. The loser side of the bracket had just as many killers because they were sent there earlier by the killers that had to move on in the bracket. It got intense really fast.
Yeah, like I think Chai Rithi clawed his way out of losers. I think out of top 16 into I think he got stopped just shy of top 8, if I'm not mistaken. But like that was another one. I was like, fuck, at least thank God I got to see that one. Like because that's the level that a lot of people are at now. Like I think the general baseline level for competitive skill in Street Fighter V approaching year 3, right? Correct? We're approaching year 3. It's pretty strong. Like it's really strong. And it's not just because people think that, the game is easy, but because a lot of people have stuck to it for that long. And like, it's not like it was at Evo 2016 where, there were 6,000 people in bracket and basically everyone was super free and, accidents happen. It's different now. Every match is close.
Yeah. Like, and that's why you have that, like, every match can't get the credence that a Red Bull Invitational can give it. They only had so many matches that they needed to play this weekend, whereas in show on stream, so what you can look ahead, you can time everything out, you can plan ahead, and exactly what matches are going to be shown, and every match is important. But the same can be said all the way through brackets, and the brackets are huge and important. Like, for example, Soroku basically almost missed top 8.
Oh, young Terrence, right?
I know. If you don't know who he is,
Terrence,
he's hard to miss at events. He's a big dude wearing a striped polo. I guarantee it.
He's godlike. He plays a mean ass Chun.
He's super good, right? But the thing is, I say that name, and how many people, like, if a Twitch chat of 20,000 people, how many people would know his name?
Yeah, honestly, I can't really see that. That's also kind of dually surprising because if I'm not mistaken, and I know whatever rank doesn't matter, but like he's well into GM on ranked with Chun on Street Fighter V.
He's super good. That whole that region has a lot of very strong players.
He's really good.
Comes from that region.
No, well, no one wants to talk about Neon and his standing heavy punch ass.
Yeah, that average Joe. Everyone knows that average Joe Neon.
I like Neon. Neon's a nice guy. He'll stop into my Twitch, but follow me on.
I owe him a drink at some point.
I'll catch him. I'll catch him in a dark alley one day. He's a great player. There are a lot of good players that that honestly, like, they don't get the attention that they deserve. And
but their matches, I think, deserve as much credence or as much like showboating that a invitational has, except that they're happening all the time at any major event.
Yeah, that's I think that Red Bull Kumite is good. I don't think that it's something that, you know, we should be super apprehensive about, especially if it gives more time players.
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I guess like I ultimately, so I know I've been like, might seem like I've been negative about this, but ultimately I am super positive on this event. Like, it was just great to see people excited about Street Fighter again. Because that's the other thing. It was only Street Fighter, you know? That's all it was.
Yeah, and it's hard to capture that same energy if it's not like, you know, EVO or Capcom Cup, because like a lot of it, like, I'm not going to point fingers at any specific event at all. Like, I'm just saying that, you know, we have so many events every single year that a lot of it does sometimes kind of feel like, you know, you're showing up to collect a check. You know what I mean?
The burnout is real. The burnout is real.
Absolutely.
Storylines are hard to follow.
The burnout is real. Storylines are hard to follow, and people, you know, a lot of people are more invested in blow-ups than they are actual progression.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Which is like kind of a bummer, because I've watched the growth of these players, right, for years now. Like, the weird thing is that I've seen a lot of these guys' names who have are now very strong players, like, show up to like VR Street Fighter Online Weekly, right? Mm-hmm. Which is this, I don't know, it's its own weird thing. I have very weird opinions about that particular online tournament. I think it's a very good resource, but I am way too close to it to have any good opinion on what it is. Maybe you can enlighten me later on, which we will get to. But
sure,
I've seen these guys come through. I've tracked all of their progress. They're such strong players, and like, what is Twitch chat talking about? Like, what is anyone talking about on Twitter FGC? It's what happened on Tuesday. Where's the blow up?
Sometimes it comes early. Sometimes it comes on Monday.
Yeah, sometimes it does. Was there any blow ups this month? No.
I know. Actually, I think we made it through blow up Tuesday this week pretty unscathed.
Yeah, I think this is pretty, because everyone was rocking on the positivity on from the Kumite.
There you go, the Kumite vibes. They helped us clutch it through.
Everyone was rocking it. Hi Fight shared a lot of really good clips of that event, and everyone was like, you know what, this is pretty rad. So if you missed it, if you haven't watched it, they're all uploaded to the Red Bull has a Red Bull Esports YouTube channel. I don't know if that's the right thing. If that's actually the name. That's probably the name.
It's Red Bull Gaming.
But Luffy versus Fujimura was really good. Problem X versus Daigo was super good.
Problem X versus Smug was really good.
That was also a good fight. Gunfight versus Angry Bird was shared around. That if you want to specifically go like hit the top matches, those ones are probably the ones you want to see. All of them were very good and have value. I want to say that now, but those ones in particular are definitely worth a watch. I think Hi Fight did he's been doing those just frame analysis of videos where he'll like stop it or slow it down, or
that's
like
so helpful.
Show tech where it's like, yeah, a commentator doesn't have time to say, oh, this is how you punish that V reversal, or like this is how this works, or this is where the advantage is here, or this is where advantage was given up, here's where a risk was taken, which is helpful to really anyone watching the set to just see where the higher level and where the meta was probably going on during the match.
Right.
Super good, dude. But that's the
blessed Hi Fight.
Yeah. Blessed Hi Fight.
Blessed Hi Fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So good event, and I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where I just hope that there's, I don't know. After the CPT, after Capcom Cup, I'm looking forward to like a month of resetting to just like zoom out and take a look at everything and see where we're at. Like, where's the money go now at this point? Like, what are the plans for 2019? Like, where are things headed? I don't know. I'm not far enough away yet to get a good view of it. Because, like, the other thing that we were talking about, it's hard to follow storylines because explain to me how the CPT points work. I know that it's been explained like numerous times. I know that there's like graphs and charts you can go to look at, but like to anyone who is coming in as a new player or even like a new viewer, to explain to them how points distribution works with the CPT is like, you have to direct them towards like a doctor of science to be like, well, let me show you. Well,
is it anything like it's like the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme with Charlie with all the shit on the wall?
Yeah. Fuck, what's that guy's name?
Pepe Silva.
Pepe Silva doesn't exist. Silva. No, he does exist. He's been asking where his mail is for the last week. No, it's a great show. Full of horrible, unredeemable people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
no, it's an absolute fucking headache. It was easier to understand last
year. Yes, but also it's gotten to the point where it is. I don't know if it's like intent. So here's the weird thing: is that I feel like it works numbers wise for the players, but also is super confusing for anyone just trying to be like. It's not like American football where you look at it and go, oh, here's the record within the division. They go to playoffs now.
Right.
Maybe you have to explain to them what the wild card is. Maybe. But like, where's the explanation here? Like, who's even getting in? That's also the weird part is I actually can't tell you right now what. There's one more ranking event, or I'm sorry, premier event left, and it's the Red Bull Conquest, North America, where the winner of that will actually be guaranteed a seat in Capcom Cup, regardless of whatever points they have.
And that's this weekend, right?
That's this weekend, yes.
Do you have any idea how stacked that's going to be?
It's
going to be so bad.
It's bonkers.
It's going to be a bloodbath because I can already think of a handful of people off the top of my head that are going to really, really shake things up. I mean, just from the Midwest, I think of Just Kid, Cool Kid, Rob TV. Who else?
Chris CCH is going out there.
Yeah, Chris CCH, a very, very good guile and G player.
Nacer is sponsoring him, by the way.
Nice. I think Maureen will be there as well, won't she?
I actually I don't know if she's going to miss this or miss Capcom Cup because of finals or something. She had like school stuff going on.
Oh yeah, she's a little school baby. I forget. Bright future ahead of her, unlike us degenerates.
Very true.
So, but no, there's going to be a lot of people in attendance there. It's going to be a really, really, really bloody fight.
Here's the thing that I have just now realized as I say that this is a Red Bull event 1 week after another Red Bull event, where our people, because I know that this tournament is probably going to be run to the nines. It's going to be incredible. Every match you see will be great. There will be a good storyline to tell here. Like, are we going to be rolling into Capcom Cup with the most steam that we have? Like, we're going to be rolling right now. Like, we're already in such high spirits. We're like, damn, Kumite was dope. Damn, North America region qualifier was incredible. I can't wait for the next premier event. Oh, it's Capcom Cup? Buckle up. I hope it's the best.
Man,
what if they
by the
drop
time
the ball, dude? What if they drop the ball?
No, man, by the time the LCQ is over, I'm already gasping for air because it's just like my butthole has been puckered for so long that like I'm not ready for the actual Capcom Cup segment.
That's fair. LCQ
it was intense last year.
Yeah, it was.
It was really intense. Like to see Nemo versus Infiltration because Nemo took first place, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Nemo versus Infiltration. Like, and honestly, like Nemo had so many close calls that I feel like I'm not alone in thinking that I was like the only person. I wasn't the only person that was like, it's probably not Nemo,
Right.
to make it in. So if last year was the way that it was, I feel like this year is going to be so much worse. Like it's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
Yeah, there's just, it's all killer, no filler. It's really what it is.
And everyone's been spread out. So like, I guess not really spread out, but everyone has been so many places this year that like, to the point that like, we've had 2 majors on the same weekend several times.
Several times.
So we're gonna see a lot of things kind of come full circle at the end of the year with Capcom Cup. Like, will Mena come back to defend his crown? Like,
Timelines are converging right now.
Yeah, so it's gonna be. I have no reason to not believe that it won't be the tournament of the year.
Well, and right now, I mean, just this weekend, there's nothing in the way. Nothing's in the way of this Red Bull event. North American,
and it could be anyone. It could be anyone.
It could be anybody. I don't know. And whoever wins gets that seat. So it's like, well, who could it really be? What's it gonna like? How are the names gonna be shuffled? So I'm actually linking in the show notes. Someone asked, because this was a question that we saw on our Street Fighter, was like, can someone explain to me Capcom Cup? Just points, like someone asked. I don't know what's going on. Ace King Offsuit came in, dropped all the information that you need, basically. He's a good dude. Definitely the person you want to look to. But then user what shared the list of who is potentially in it. For the top 26. Also 27, because we're not sure about Infiltration. That's like the whole other wild card here that we have. That's the elephant in the room we haven't talked about yet.
Is anyone even ready to talk about that yet?
I think no, Panda isn't, obviously, because they keep saying, no, we're not ready to say what's been going on. We have someone looking at it. So for those of you who don't know, there's an investigation and I think some criminal reporting. It's all very tossed around because it has to go through South. Listen, Korean laws are very obscured to anyone in the West. Things do not work the same way over there as they do over here. So even getting information, attaining information about criminal charges or like who has won what case, like was a civil case filed, I don't know. Some people say, yes, he's already lost a case about domestic abuse with his wife. So it's like, well, do we know this already? It's hard to say. And so Panda's already out there like, we don't know yet. We're not saying anything about it. But until then, he's not competing. So up until Capcom Cup, I mean, as far as points go, Infiltration is 11th right now. He's pretty much locked in. He's got as much of a points lead that he needs where he's not in danger of falling out. Mm-hmm. But will he go? Will everything be cleared by that time?
Yeah. Will he go? And if in the event that he doesn't go, how will they handle replacing him? Would they give that spot to the person that finished second in LCQ, or would they give that to the next person down in points ranking?
I think that might be the situation. That's what in my heart I think will happen, is that they'll see whoever has the points and move them in. So at the bottom of the list, there's Chris T and Nemo. So
Nemo's on the outs again.
He's 27th.
Such a bum.
He's 27 on that list.
Such a bum.
I don't know how he made 20. He's so good. He's so good.
I don't think that his event roadmap has been nearly as packed as a lot of other people's have this year, because he did just transfer to join Team Liquid at the beginning of this year, correct?
Yes, because he was with Team Alienware. I think he still works at Alienware. I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pretend like I know, but just maybe just a bit of a thought is that they didn't want to throw him into the deep end to start out with for year one.
Maybe.
So
I don't know. I did listen. Whenever I talked, there was an episode about that where I had the specifics. I lined it up and knocked it out. So there's an episode about that out there somewhere about the exact situation. But regardless, yeah, it's crazy to me that he's like on the outs when he's so good.
Yeah, he's too good to not be qualified, man. And I feel like that's not even me being biased. Like you can look at his gameplay. Like the man is a robot when it comes to making Urian work.
Yeah, and like any errant hit is, I converted this into all of the damage apparently.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm gonna reset you. Don't hit button.
Yeah.
But like he's too good. He's too good. It would not. I want to say, in a perfect world where I have a LCQ where Nemo is on the outs, that Nemo surely wouldn't qualify again. But I know in my heart that if he did, I would be like, I wouldn't be fucking surprised. Because now he's got that pocket G. It's not just Urian anymore. He does have a G.
I think G is a very good character, by the way.
I appreciate G so much, and the only thing that frustrates me about him is that I haven't been playing fighting games seriously long enough to have all of the nerve ends in my brain do what the fuck they're told.
You haven't tied the neural pathway from your brain to your hands yet. You haven't short-circuited that.
He's bonkers, man. I watched
His
a bit of...
robbery is top tier.
It's fantastic, and he does so much mental damage. I watch Smug stream. Smug streams G on Rain every now and again, and I watched it last night, and just some of the shit he comes up with is absolutely just bonkers. Like I'll watch him do like a fuzzy setup jump light kick into V skill, and then what was it after that? Stand roundhouse into a super, and it all comboed, and I was like, what the shit is that? Like,
he gets a super confirm off of an instant air. Fuzzy overhead.
He's such a dynamic character, but watching Smug in the Kumite versus Problem X when he brought out G, because he played Boxer game 1, and he took game 1, and then Problem X took game 2, which forced him to switch. Smug kind of handed Problem his ass there with G for I think it was I want to say it was round 2. He lost round 1 of game 3. But in round 2, like he sunned him pretty fucking hard. Like it was free-ish.
It's what you wanted to see with G.
Right. But he made one mistake. He made one tiny mistake and put himself back in the corner, and Problem just sunk him. And therein lied my, if I ever wanted to write a report to Capcom about why you should never ever nerf G, I'm gonna send that video, because like the amount of abuse that character gets subjected to when they're not being respected is pretty next level. It does not feel good to get bullied. G.
That's fair. I can understand that. But I've seen some fucked up. He can dish it out. Man,
yeah, no, he's definitely not a weak character.
I saw Tasty Blue do a mix-up a couple weeks ago that blew my fucking mind. The whiffed projectile cancel into command grab.
Oh, that's gross.
It was it put a sick taste in my mouth. It was disgusting.
It's because he has so many routes. Like he has so many routes, and he has so many things that complement each other. It's just that you need to not be playing a bonkers ape shit Ken net player with a 2-bar connection to get away with them.
So let's narrow it down, because I think we can both gush over G and kind of how cool that character is. He's
I love him too much. You better take it away from me now.
Definitely one of the better characters to be released in season 4. But what I want to talk about, I want to look forward to the future.
Sure.
What do you think season Season 4 hasn't. Did I already say Season 4? Did I mean Season 3?
You meant Season 3, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Man, it's felt every patch.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Think about it. Think about how much longer your hair has gotten since Season 1.
Like, I grew this entire beard in this season. It's been crazy.
I'm telling you, it's been a minute.
I might shave this beard after this season.
Don't do it.
I might do it.
Don't do it.
To grow it.
Every time I fucking shave my beard off, my wife looks at me funny. It's like I'm a different person. People
no respect on the streets.
Yeah, people on the street don't respect me. But no, it's so
season 4 though, because there was the X-Cure leak list of characters, which I don't know. I don't trust his leaks at all because
I'm not an X-Cure believer.
I mean, if you shoot a shotgun at a wide enough target, you're gonna hit it at some point.
I 1000% agree. I think he's very good at making educated guesses, and then really good at checking the Steam DB in the event that it updates a week before an update.
Very true.
So the cold, but real.
But what are your hopes and dreams for season 4?
My hopes and dreams, to be honest with you, as a guy that has an unhealthy obsession with Guile and Q, I kind of got everything I wanted already. But I was watching Canada Cup 2017, and with Fei Long, and I'd never seen it happen before. It was Koemon. Mm-hmm. And that really, really just the way that he played with Fei Long really turned me on to the character. So I wouldn't be sad if Fei Long came back, but I absolutely do not expect it. But if you check the bustling side street stage, Fei Long has a bus.
Yeah, that's been there for a while.
Yeah, it's been there for a very long time. It's been there since launch. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be sad to see Fei Long come back. Now, in terms of what I would totally 100,000% expect to be back, I'm not going to be surprised if Sea Viper's back. I completely expect Makoto. I feel like there's going to be more Third Strike characters.
The thing about that is when they bring them back, I don't think that they're going to be what people want them to be.
Oh, no. And hey, remember what happened when people got what they wanted it to be? We got Sagat, and now everybody's bitching.
Thing is, I actually love Sagat in this game.
No, I do too. I think he's fun.
He plays exactly the way I want Sagat to play.
Because what did people say when they asked for Sagat? They were like, please don't Street Fighter 5 him. And they didn't. And now people are bitching.
And that means that he might suffer against other characters on the tier list who might be better at doing Street Fighter 5 things. But man's got Kara cancels, dog.
He feels good. He feels good. I think
so
that
good.
I feel like there are things that mild tweaks that he could, stand to see going into season 4.
Sure.
Like maybe just the slightest increase in a walk speed change. Maybe give fireballs a teeny bit more priority. Not I'm not talking about make them super plus like Guiles. But just make him play to his character, to his archetype.
Less recovery.
Right. Because I feel ultimately Capcom had this beautiful, happy accident that happened where the beta that we got was awesome. And then the base model that we got sucked, but it was okay. And then season 2 was kind of a happy, comfortable nightmare. And then season 3 is finally we've reached the light at the end of the tunnel. But at the same time, they've kind of been training the player base at the same, all the same as the updates come. So to see Sagat come out and have Kara canceling, I feel like they're slowly leaking in, higher skill ceiling tech into the game.
Yeah, so that was my whole thing of I love that Sagat has Kara cancels.
She has one too.
But I also Kara cancels in the like by technicality. Like
Geef
has
about,
Kara cancels.
You're talking about the useful Kara cancels. Gotcha.
Yeah, like Geef has Kara cancels. But you cancel like the empty frames of the end of the animation, not really like the start. And like some moves have startup, but it's not. Some aren't like very useful or like that obvious of making that move like so much better. Like a Kara DP and neutral jump as they try and jump over a fireball, that feels so good. Give me those like good feeling Karas. But it sucks that Sagat's the only one who has those. It's a heartbreaker, but regardless, like when you get Sea Viper in here, are we going to see Fierce Faint Fierce?
One would hope. I feel like that's like, kind of a key part of the character.
In this game, though?
That is another thing, is that like...
Her Fierce is going to have to deal like 70 damage. Think about that. Is that she's going to have Fierce Faint Fierce, but her Fierce will deal 70 damage.
It must be...
And 90 stun.
It must be hard to be on the development of this game.
Yeah. I don't envy that job at all.
No, I don't in the slightest. Like, because you have to kind of consider what is real and what is like perception.
Yeah.
And that really comes into like adjusting a character. Like, because really, like, for example, like, take Alex. You adjust that motherfucker the one wrong way in the wrong direction, and he's going to be a nightmare. Like,
feel just the exact same way about Zangief. Like, people say, this is the thing that people complain about. Give Zangief Green Hand. To which I say, if Zangief had a way to cancel into a move that moves him forward, like, and he can combo into it and like get past projectiles, and like he would be busted in this.
Oh no! If honestly, man, if you gave Geef Green Hand, it would be a nightmare. It would be more than enough. It would be more than enough based on the fact, one thing that I totally understand how it works. I just can't believe it. Is with Maximum President, if you activate it and you just use the V skill Fireball while you're in the air, you can just lariat through it and smack you in the face. Like, imagine if he could do that just going forward,
Yeah.
Like, so
lariat has some like hella range to it, which is still bananas to me. I'm always surprised by the range that it has. But if he had a move that went further than that, it would be hand green.
It would be a wrap.
It's lights out. Folks.
It would be a wrap. I was pissed when they gave him an air headbutt.
I was, but for different reasons. In that it wasn't as good as it probably should be. Buff headbutt.
But I'm speaking in the context of season.
Buff
they
headbutt.
They gave him the headbutt in season 2, right?
Yeah, but
okay,
and then they nerfed it. But buff headbutt. That's what I'm saying. You just want
your character to be the best character in the game.
I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said no. Zangief is great. He's the best. Who doesn't want to see Zangief do well?
No, I feel the same way about Guile. As anytime someone says anything about him, I'm like, what? He's fucking honest.
Yeah. Okay.
That is one thing that did
that came through in the Kumite, I think.
But no, that did kind of shine through to me after changing gears to try and learn G. Is that Guile really does have like kind of low mix-up potential. Like there are a lot of these characters that are like Ibuki and G and Mika that just they have so much crazy mix-up variety and potential. And Guile, you like at the high level of competition, you kind of have to like beat people with your stupidity. If that makes any sense. Like
they have mix-ups, and those mix-ups lead to very big damage. It's not just that they have mix-ups. I think that that's important here, is that it's not just the one mix-up and like you might deal a little like a hit confirm. No, it's like you guessed wrong that one time and the match is over now.
Yeah, so let me tell you about my buddy Chakotay. I don't even need to tell you. You already know.
I'm a fan. He's a good dude.
He's every time I go to the Yumacon Battle Opera, he fucking knocks me into losers or he knocks me out of the tournament. I'm really fucking sick of it.
No, he's good. No, he's a very good player.
We're homies. I just bust his balls. We're really friendly about it now. Like when we got on stage together at Yuma this year, we were just kind of like, isn't this nice? Like it's kind of like a date in a way. You know what I mean?
Did you try and talk him into playing G-Mirror?
No, I didn't want to talk him into anything. I knew he was on a mission, and fortunately, regardless of how much determination you have, you can't get in the way of a man with vigor, and he has way more vigor than I do, and he's also a hell of a lot younger.
Mm-hmm. Also very tall, but that's neither here nor there.
You noticed that too, right?
He is very tall.
He's extremely tall, and I want to congratulate him for his new role in the Detective Pikachu. Since everybody else is posting that meme on Twitter.
Oh, I love Detective Pikachu. I am looking forward to it.
So goddamn creepy.
I love it. Give it to me. I want to see Detective Pikachu hand in his gym badge and water gun for doing some off-brand detective work. I want to see a good cop, bad cop scene where Detective Pikachu reminds the perp that he can turn any chair into an electric chair.
Okay, see, but when you
the one thing that got me, the one part about it that I did not like, I'm even okay with Mr. Mime, but realizing that where they took it was Jigglypuff is furry.
I'm going to see that in my nightmares for the rest of my life.
I was not ready for furry Jigglypuff. I was under the impression that this was a Majin Buu situation, and it was like he was basically like gum in a round form, in a balloon form, but no, the Jigglypuff it's all hair all the way down.
He looks like a distant axe-murdering relative of Ted.
It's not good.
You have to understand is that I have very vivid nightmares when I have them. I can guarantee you the next one's gonna have that motherfucker in him.
It's haunting your dreams forever.
It is so unsettling. It's unsettling. Like I'm not a creature of change. So when like Pokemon Go was creepy enough as it is, like, and it was just something that like it was made okay because I could enjoy it because I'd be active while playing a game. But like to see realistic, like what would Pokemon look like if they were in real life? Well, let's just say I'm not gonna go looking for a fucking Zubat anytime soon.
Oh yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But
a Golbat, even think of a Golbat.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
Big gaping maw.
That's horrifying. That's scarier than anything that you could possibly bring front and center to me right now in reality as we exist in.
Let me ask you this then. Here's where my mind is thinking. Is like a Hitmonlee furry? Or a Hitmon listen, if they're making Jigglypuff furry, then all bets are off. Any Pokemon can be furry.
I don't like that, because what happens when you run into Geodude? Like, we're going to be like, nah, he's a rock. And they're going to be like, psych, bitch, he's furry.
Oh, my God. All bets are off, folks.
Also,
Geodude is cool.
The worst part about this is that I had 100% planned on not seeing the movie. But now that we've talked about it at length, I have to know.
Listen, I'm in on Pokemon. It doesn't take much. Here's the thing, is that it hits that nostalgia scent. Like everyone, not everyone, but many people our age have played it and know what a Pokemon is. And that's what I love that they've done with this Detective Pikachu movie, is that they've made this live action thing. They've put a budget behind it for like to get it out on media, like put it on blast, to get it in front of moms and dads. Like people know what a Pikachu is. Like it's not like a whole origin story of like, welcome to the world of Pokemon, there's pocket monsters and monsters in everyone's pocket. They're not doing a whole like origin story thing. Like, no, in this world of Detective Pikachu, we already know that Pokemon exist, but also we're taking it to another level of like, what if this one was
a detective. What if this one was solving crimes?
I feel like that ultimately still boils down to, okay, but what if it wore a hat?
Yeah, what if it wore a Sherlock Holmes-like hat? Does Detective Pikachu smoke pipe?
I'm still pissed it's not Danny DeVito.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing, because if you listen to because what got me, because I've known about this for a while, but like the Detective Pikachu games, in the games, he has like a deep like New York voice, like, hey, I'm walking here, like I'm Detective Pikachu. We're out here to solve some crimes. Put you in an orange jumpsuit, take you down to Rikers.
I would have been okay with that. I don't think Ryan Reynolds is fit. I know that's going to be a really unpopular opinion for a lot of people, but I don't think he's a good fit. I think he should stick to Deadpool.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't know. All bets are off. Like, in my opinion, there might as well be at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Detective Pikachu breaks kayfabe and there's a Deadpool reference. I almost think that there will be at this point. With the way that the internet has taken that thing already, it's almost a guarantee. But anyway, this is a podcast where we talk. Welcome to RSF Radio, a podcast where we talk about things are Street Fighter related. I don't know. Pikachu's in a fighting game.
This is good. I think I'm doing okay for my first time.
No, you're doing just fine. Don't you worry about that. So what we can talk about, speaking of things that are actually fighting games, let's talk about the most important fighting game of all time, Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Yeah, that game is dead. So there's I have one of my teammates. He's a very devout Tekken player. Since Tekken 7 came out on console, like he would go to Evo explicitly just to to be in the Tekken tourney, because like when you're in America and if you live in the Midwest, that's the only way that you're gonna get to play the new Tekken. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah, there was a good Tekkens. There has been a good Tekken scene, like in Texas. Texas has had good Tekken scene for a while.
That's not the Midwest. That's the South.
I know, but it's the closest I can get. The best I could do is a Texas.
No, but my teammate, he still insists to this day that Tekken Cross Street Fighter is alive and well, and that it's coming. Kind of like how they said Duke Nukem Forever was coming for a really long time.
Yeah, but Duke Nukem Forever came out and was bad. That's like, Duke Nukem Forever is like the Chinese democracy of our time, where like it was talked about forever. Like, this is coming out. Listen, man, I saw a level off of Duke Nukem Forever and it blew my fucking mind, man. It will change the face of games. It's like anyone was hanging out with Axl Rose and they were like, no, I heard a song off Chinese democracy, dude. It's going to change the face of rock and roll forever. The thing about that is no one is fucking talking about Tekken Cross Street Fighter and being like, yo, I saw an Akuma do an electric wing god fist and it changed my opinion on it. Jesus isn't real anymore.
I think
I saw him do the electric and God doesn't exist. That's how much it changed my life.
Further proof that God doesn't exist is Steve in a Charlie Nash costume from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but
no, it's Akuma in an Armika costume. If you want to truly know what hell is,
I think Tekken Cross Street Fighter died and was reborn in both Akuma and Eliza.
I think you're right.
In Tekken 7.
I think that's where it lives.
I don't even think. I don't think that. Shit. Wow. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Negan.
No, not Negan. Sorry.
Final Fantasy man.
Harada. Jesus.
Harada.
I don't even think Harada entertained questions about Tekken Cross Fighter anymore. I think he just looks at people and he's just like, "Are you serious? This is what we're doing today? We're gonna argue."
Well, I mean, hey, developers, don't announce a game before you're ready for everyone to talk about it forever.
Did we ever even get pictures of that?
We did. There was a Ryu in like Tekken form.
I think I've seen one picture and it reminded me of
it was a very sleek Ryu.
It reminded remember when Street Fighter 5 was even alpha?
Yeah.
Like it looked like some like
yeah. It looks similar to that. It with no texture to anything.
Yeah,
smooth
like
skin
super
Ryu,
realistic,
like smooth gi Ryu even. Yeah, like hyper realistic Ryu. Well, yeah.
Well, there's
but
a lot
he wasn't throwing anyone into a volcano, so I was very suspect.
There's a lot of vaporware in fighting games. Like there really is. Rising Thunder just decided that it wasn't gonna be vaporware.
Man, that opens an old wound, man. I feel like I bring up Rising Thunder as often as I can on the show because you can go download Rising Thunder right now. You can
play it right the fuck now. You can play it right now.
It's a very good fighting game, but unfortunately, Riot is a nightmare company that bought that whole team, and that might not ever be a thing that ever gets. I mean, Rising Thunder that's not the fighting game that they're going to make, but maybe they were going to make a thing similar, and then it's just like you look at where the money is in Riot and how they run as a company. It's just like, nah, that's never. We're never going to see a fighting game out of Riot, are we?
It's a nice pipe dream, isn't it?
Nah, I'm going to hit them with a pipe. That's my dream.
Hey, I got a gas can. We can make this a cooperative
Bust in the doors and say, give me back I'm here for the Rising Thunder team. Get behind me, Rising Thunder team. And they're like, no, we're working here. We have jobs and families. I've already spread the gasoline on the floor. I can't put it back in. Please leave, sir. Okay.
Who are you and how did you get past the front door?
Yeah.
But no, so, I know that back when Street Fighter 4 came out, it was kind of heralded as the renaissance of fighting games, like the new golden age. And I feel like we're kind of approaching that again, like a rollover into another golden age because we have so much now.
Yeah, I keep saying that. The thing is that there's a lot of fighting games and that they're all very good.
Yeah, I think even the ones that people shit post about and say suck are still at least passable titles. Mm-hmm. But we have so many games now that it's like, what the fuck else could we want? So I was just sitting there one day. I was like, we have Fighting Layer. Those guys kick ass, by the way. I love those guys. It's like 4 guys with a Keurig and a Dream.
They're kicking ass, and hey, that got a Steam release.
Today.
Yeah, that was hey, by the way, today, here we go.
But we have so much stuff now that's like, what else could fit in here? And I was sitting there one day, I was like, well, what are we missing, or what could we do different that would bring something new to the table? And I'm like, man, is Tekken Cross Street Fighter ever going to be a thing, or are we just going to beat around the bush about how that's vaporware?
It ain't real.
It's buried in the same hole that Final Fantasy 15 was thrown in.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like the moment of silence was kind of appropriate for that, considering the DLC cancellation announcement.
Yeah, I don't know. That's harsh because I like that game.
Really?
I think 15 is good.
I bought the Ultimate Edition off of Square, and I regretted every second of it. And I was like, "Damn,
bullshit. That sucks."
There's a happy ending. I flipped it and I made my money back. So
okay.
it was okay. But for a $20 title, I'd be like, sure, okay, I can see where you're coming from.
No, see, man, I know that this is an unpopular opinion, but I actually think, and this is, remind you guys, this is a fighting game podcast. I believe that Final Fantasy 15 is the best Final Fantasy game to come out in the last very long time. I think it is a very good RPG.
Oof.
Yup.
Oof.
I will fight. Listen, it has a cover. Listen, that game opens so well. That is the vibe. It is Japanese Americana in the best worst way. And there's a part of me that says, yeah, I'm down. I'll go on this road trip with you.
It must have done something right, because otherwise Noctis wouldn't be in Tekken.
Sure. Who knows who's getting put in Tekken now?
No.
I don't know. They mocapped a horse for Onimusha, and I think that's going to be in Tekken.
I can tell you who's not going to be in fucking Tekken is Kazuma Kiryu, and to this day, I'm still pissed the fuck off about it.
Well, fair enough.
But returning to my season 4 prospects, because I never really answered your question.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
I know we got sidetracked. Please no E Honda.
You had to come back to E Honda, and how much you want him in the game.
No, I don't want
you love him so much.
No, I want him to not be in the game. I don't think you should be able to just fucking smash your face on an arcade stick and be plus on block.
I like Honda.
I don't like Honda.
If we get anything from Honda, I would like his bathroom.
I actually, that would be really cool to see in the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, give me HD bathrooms. That's what I'm into these days.
But
HD
my question is, are we being too greedy? Because we have how many stages do we have now? We have a lot.
The better question is, how many stages are tournament legal?
There's only 3 that aren't, right?
Think about that answer, though.
Look at
Think about what
Brothers.
You're saying. Like, even in inquisitive mode, there's only 3 that aren't.
Look at Smash Brothers. You have to fucking download a README just to find out which stages are tournament legal or not.
Right, but that's a design because it's a party game. But where in a 2D fighting game where every stage is the same size, they just added a bunch of bullshit to it to be like, oh, you can't play on these stages. By the way,
they were trying to appeal to the casual crowd. They were like,
I guess.
What's that damn stage on Brawl? Poke Floats. Yeah, they wanted Rashid's stage to be the new Poke Floats.
Poke Floats. Yeah, give me Honda's bathroom HD.
I would be down for that, actually. And I would be cool to see Ken's stage make a return, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Big old boat.
They gave us reuse. Why not?
And then have a Q-like character. Maybe just have G in the background.
I think that G is Q. And I'm going to just go ahead and throw that out here on this podcast and, drop the mic. I think G is Q. And anybody that argues with me is fucking wrong.
They're absolutely wrong. That's why in Ken's stage, where they're gonna have G standing there, and then when G is playing that character, they'll have Q on that stage, and then whenever G is playing, he won't be there, and that'll be the proof that Detective Pikachu needs to solve this crime.
Oh my god!
I've got Detective Pikachu on the case. He'll let me know. I need Detective Pikachu to solve all these bathroom crimes for me.
The case of the missing E Honda bathroom.
Yeah, man. I'm looking for it. I've been looking for it.
I would be into that stage. I feel like there were a bunch of ones that were leaked that we still haven't got. I feel, but I think that I don't think Capcom has any sign of running out of steam anytime soon.
No,
I don't think that there's anything explicitly that puts the game and its ecosystem in danger. I think at the very least we're good for next year and maybe the year after that.
All right. Well, while I still have you here, let me ask you before we start ending the show and sunsetting this episode, because it's been a long episode.
Yeah, this has been good. I had a good time.
I want to ask you a question. This one's selfish.
Sure.
Of what is the R Street Fighter Online Weekly? What even is it? What is it?
I think the R Street Fighter Online Weekly is a great place to go if you are tired of asking yourself, who the fuck is this person I'm about to play in bracket at a real tournament? Because I think I think there are a lot of people that don't get to travel as much, that play in the Online Weekly, that when they do get to go out, people are like, holy shit, who is this? I just got 2-0'd by this person. I don't know who the fuck they are. And then at that point, Joe Monday gets to go, I know that guy. He was that
happens all the time. Actually,
it's important. It's important, for how much people trash online. And believe me, I hate online too. But for a lot of people, they have to live and die by that. And it's important, and you can still take things away from it. There are strong people that have come out of the R Street Fighter Weekly, but Mike Too Strong, is a great example of that.
Damn, yeah, he's good. The Minnesota scene is good though. They've got good players up there.
Yeah, but still, he's a poster child for the R Street Fighter Weekly, and he's so good.
Or
Like,
even
and
Ross, I think
when I watched him, he played in Rebel Conquest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, when I watched him in Rebel Conquest, people in the stream chat, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, yo, that's Mike Too Strong. That is my man.
Best
like,
believe.
Yeah, nah, be cool. But I think that's what's good about our Street Fighter Weekly is that you get a chance, just like any other weekly that you would go to that isn't your own local, to meet people you wouldn't before.
That's fair. I don't know. I've just lost, I've been doing this for so long and I've been so close to it that I have no good perspective on this.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you what I think it is, but I don't know if that's true. You know, just because of how close I am to it. Because like every week in, week out, like we keep about the same number of entrants. It's like a rotating cast of characters. It's not always the same people every week, but it sticks around 50 or so entrants, and it's been that way for 5 years.
Yeah, so, if I'm not mistaken, you hit, was it 64 or 68 this week?
I think the number of people who readied
was
up
well
was
over 60.
I think it was, I don't know. I think it was 60 exactly. By the time we got people who had not checked in, it was 60. But people who had signed up was like 68, I think.
No, that's incredible, honestly. And it was stacked. Like it was not free. It was a very, very solid bracket.
Mm-hmm. No, it was, and we finished on time. Also, was the other thing that amazed me.
I know that thrills the shit out of you. I've been showing up to the R Street Fighter Weekly for at least a year now. So I know that has to be an amazing feeling for you.
Well, the thing is that we've had many weeks in the past where we've had 70, we've had 80 entrants at some point. Like it's this weird thing where it's fluctuated between like 30 to 70. Like it'll rock around 30 for a while. People get excited, and then you'll see jumps. But it has maintained this like very, at least in my opinion, by me, like my myopic view of it, is that it's just this milquetoast tournament that just continues to happen, has the same number. It's like high school, the same number of entrants, but I don't know. I'm trying to make but like I keep getting older and it all stays the same age, you know? Like
whoa.
It is similar to that Matthew McConaughey quote. Oh, right. It's similar to that. But like it's been like we've had the same. Like people are like, oh man, you had like this many viewers. It's like, yeah, we've had this many viewers like a number of times over the years. So to me, this isn't like a surprising thing. This is just like what happens. I don't know. But it's good. I guess it's good that it just continues to happen, right? So that you can get situations like, okay, we have this, that there's this level of competition here. Like by the end of it, it's going to be very top players, like who can kill a god in a bracket.
No, and it's all a result of the fact that you do the shit out of your job, which is like, depending on who you ask, is a tall order to fill for TOs, but TOing is not easy. TOing is not easy, especially if you're like, I feel like we share that a lot of that in common is that, we wear a lot of the same hats. We're like, kind of try to run everything. So if you're TOing and you're streaming and you're commentating, well, you'll have gray hair in no time.
Yeah. People don't realize that combination is like, that is the hardest juggle to do. All of that at once, not easy.
No.
And also thankless.
I totally agree.
But all right. Well, thank you for your opinions on that. I just need to refocus every once in a while. We're coming to the end of the CPT. Time for me to refocus, but this is the time where I like to refocus the podcast on the guest. And I cannot let you leave without answering these two questions.
Sure.
You might know what's coming, but I got to phrase it the same way. So I ask whenever I have a new guest on, I ask them this line of questioning, two questions, which I think tells a lot about a player. The first question is, what is your favorite normal attack in any fighting game?
It's got to be forward fierce for Guile, man. Just hit him with the back fist. The back fist is just, especially meaty back fist specifically, like where they feel it in their soul and they're like, damn, I shouldn't have been there at that given time, but now I'm there. And
I shouldn't have tried to walk forward into this space, and now I'm eating knuckles.
Yeah, no, and they've done such a good job of making it look so convincing in every game, especially like in 5, like when you get someone on the counter hit with it, where it's like you could just hear the ringing, and it's like, dude, you just lost all of your fucking.
Yeah, smack them.
So yeah, definitely back fist. If I had to be like super specific about one, I would say probably CVS2 Guile back fist.
Okay.
So I know that's really obscure, but it
is
incredible
these days.
character. Make CVS2 great again.
Didn't used to be, but it is these days. Yeah.
I'm a big Boss fan, so I'll sack ride CVS2 any day of the week.
Word. All right, very good answer. I like that answer. I liked Guile's back fist in 4. Azure Halcyon made me walk into so many back fists back in the day.
Oh man, sad boys.
Dude, Geef Guile has always been a fun matchup. But anyway, good answer. Second question, kind of tied to that. What is your favorite combo in any fighting game? Could be any fighting game.
So when I started playing Third Strike, I really struggled to find an identity as somebody that mostly only plays Guile in every game, and Remy is trash.
Yeah, that's not a really good replacement, actually.
No, it's a dollar store Guile. So I got into Q, and I did a lot of research on the character as I was trying to learn how to play him, and obviously, I found all the Kuroda videos, and now it's not cool to hang out with Kuroda anymore for obvious reasons. So I moved on because I wanted to find a new inspiration for the character, and I found TM. And for anyone that's not familiar with TM, he's another Japanese Third Strike player, and he plays Q, and he plays like a super hyper aggro Q, not like super campy. He's always a moving target. And the moment that I knew that I was in love with this man as a player, I watched him in tournament. I believe it was in Co-op Cup this year.
Yeah.
He caught someone with a roundhouse capture and deadly blow, got a dash over hold into a dash over into a super R2. And it was the sickest thing that I had ever seen. Like, it's just, he's an absolutely electric player. And I'm such a fanboy of him. I even bought him a drink on the internet when they had their other Third Strike event. It was really cool. It was really cool.
That event was awesome. Where he
shouted me out. He shouted me out on stream and everything. He was a really cool guy.
Yeah, no, that shit was awesome.
And that character is hard work.
Oh man, yeah. The Q is tough to do well in that game. Super fun character in my opinion. Love that character.
But you will get ran over.
Yeah. The Makoto Q, no thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll just unplug.
Chun-Li Q, obviously no.
Can you give me 1 second?
But no. All right. Well, that is an episode. I want to thank you for spending all this time. Long episode this week. Thanks for turning up. Much appreciated.
Yeah, man, this was fantastic and fun. I'm actually like, no, this is perfect timing because I have business to attend.
Okay. Well, in that case, before you run off, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at NoGoodCitizen. That's kind of my universal name that I use for generally everything. If you have a technical question about arcade stuff, you can always fill out a ticket with Focus Attack. I'm more than happy to help you. Or you can just at me. Either one is just as good. And my team also has the No Good Network at, and then I'm also on Twitch under NoGoodCitizen.
All right. Awesome. And you can find me at Super Joe Monday on Twitter or at RedditSF, which is the official Twitter account of the subreddit, which every time I say that sounds very weird. But anyway, that's a show, folks. We'll be here every Thursday. Look for the tournaments on Mondays and Fridays. But until next time, folks, you take care.
Thanks, Joe.
No, thank you again for your time, for hanging out for another 2 hours. Goddamn. Long episode.
I'm with it. I had a great time.
All right. Peace.
See you, man.